What's up, people? It's your boy Perfection back again for another one. Right, I did like the one other video. Again, it wasn't the greatest. I'm not trying to be perfect here, but my other video, chasing stimuli, is alright. It's not bad. It's not bad. Right, so this video here is going to start previously like the last one, really. And that was, again, I asked myself about a day ago, Luke, what was the whole purpose of your videos? I don't understand why. Like, I sat down and said to myself, like, why do I have the videos on YouTube? Should I delete all of them? Are they worth them being on there? Three things came into my mind. One of them is understanding. There's certain things, certain subjects that I talk about that people just don't understand, like with mental health or this or that. But if they generally sat down and thought about some of the things that I'm saying, it will start to make some sort of sense. Whereas you have no idea, you can picture, you can kind of use whatever empathy is there and kind of dramatize it in your head or picture it in your head and I use certain kind of examples to kind of let you understand a little feeling. So forget mental health, I'm talking about the whole of the site, everything in regards to judging, empathy, how a person can suddenly live one lifestyle and then suddenly jump into another lifestyle. Is it possible? How are I kind of go into detail. So the first thing would be understanding. Point number two is naivety. I think is really important. My site, although it's not aimed at younger kids, it's when I think back to myself at 14 years old, which is what ties into this whole video in the first place, because I was surviving R. Kelly and there was a 14-year-old on there and she seemed quite naive. So naivety is that what my videos do. If I was 14 years old and I had videos like mine, it would have helped me when I was 14, because I would have known that, wait a minute here, it's not just me then. It's not just me that sees things this way. There are other people that kind of see things the same way. I'm not like, a needle in a haystack here. Like, there are other people out there that are kind of, that don't agree with some of the things that's happening around them or how people are behaving. So naivety, and I show young people as well how to deal with it and how to tackle with it. And it's not always pretty, because I'm not here to be fake or smile up in your face and all those kind of things. I'm not. This isn't. It's not. I wouldn't say it's not purposely made for you to feel good. It's not really. If you feel good from my channel, that's a good thing. But it's not a feel good channel. That's not my purpose. My purpose is more like philosophy and realism. And sometimes it is going to hit home. It is going to touch a nerve. Which brings me to the third thing, is that my channel is going to some people out there, and this is the most important thing about my channel as well, is that there are some people out there that are going to listen to some of the things that I say and get upset, and I want you to be upset. That's the whole purpose of it. I want you to be upset, because there's certain people out there that are living a certain lifestyle, and it's a very maybe selfish, narcissistic lifestyle. And if you're able to actually sit through a video, then you're a G, because most people run for the hills. When I start saying certain things, they don't want to hear it. I even remember being younger, a certain friend going, no, I don't want to hear it, 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 stop talking. They couldn't deal with it, when it's coming at them, because normally you've got people around them that are kind of protecting them, which I said in one of my videos. What was it? The difference between a nice guy being nice and being a sellout. There's a lot of people out there that have people protecting them, they're just not telling them. They don't want to sit them down and be raw with them. It's as simple as that. They don't want to be raw, or they refuse to. I think they feel that this person's been battered so much that they don't need any more battering, kind of thing. And I can understand where they're coming from. I can understand it, but it depends. It depends. I mean, if that's truly the case, if you're trying to protect someone, are you protecting them from a distance? When you're feeding this kind of their well, would I use to describe it? When you're telling these people that that some of their behaviour, some of the stuff that they do, which is quite wrong, which is why they don't want to hear the truth anyway. When you're telling people that it's okay for them to behave this way, are you telling them that from a distance, Or are you telling them that from living with the person? Are you living with the person and telling them that? Or are you telling the person in the safety of your own home, telling them it's okay for them to behave in the same way they are? Because if you are, then you're not genuinely real. It's kind of fake. But this is what I'm trying to say. My channel, the third thing is the fact that it will hit home to certain people out there that are living a certain lifestyle that they know is kind of selfish, lazy, and wrong. It will kind of touch a few nerves, and which is a good thing. Which is a good thing, you know. And if they actually sit and watch through the whole thing, then they're G's. That they really are, because you know, you've obviously, some people got people out there protecting them, and they're not gonna change. They're not gonna change, you know. So those are the three reasons: naivety, understanding, and three, I'm that guy that's not afraid to tell you, you know, and you know, because I'm not too bothered about the consequences. I'm trying to say, because I guess what, I've been through a hell of a lot of stuff too. So I'm one of those guys that don't mind kind of, you know, I'll have a scrap basically. It's one of those ones. It sounds crazy, but it is like that. It's like I'm not afraid, whereas you know everyone else around you is, kind of thing. But getting back to it, right? So let's get into it. Right. So watching a program the other day, Surviving R. Kelly. Okay. Now I mentioned naivety, right? Naivety. Right, so we're watching this program, and R. Kelly has been accused at one stage. I think he's in his 30s, late 30s. I'm guessing. He's been accused. They said it was by the was when I'm a Flirt is out. I'm a Flirt. So I'm a Flirt would have come out in probably about 2004 or something. I don't know how Kelly is. I'm assuming he's in his 30s. Yeah. So I'm a Flirt comes out, but by this time now, R. Kelly's been, a few people have come out and said R. Kelly basically has molested a whole bunch of kids. It wasn't just one child. It was, you know, it was a few. And at the time, there was the R. Kelly sex tape circulating, and one 14-year-old decides, and this is where, you know, again guys, I'm sorry, this is touchy now, this is touchy, we're touching, we're going into the danger zone now, we're going into the danger zone, okay. I'm going to touch on a few people's feelings now, but stay with me, bear with me, because it's important, you know. I got into a kind of, I wouldn't say an argument, I'd say we got into a little bit of a kind of debate or dispute or whatever, you know, about this. And basically, right, so R. Kelly's been accused of molesting or, you know, having sex with minors. Not just one, it was quite a few of them at the time. And there's a sex tape circulating, and one 14-year-old girl decides to go to court with a picket board saying R. Kelly is innocent. Okay. He then comes out the court case and he's paying attention to, oh, thank you, you know, you're doing a really good thing and blah blah blah. I don't know how long the court case goes on for, but then he's found innocent. Okay. This little girl is outside the court case for quite some time, like, you know, I don't know how long it's gone for, but she's a fan, she's there most days. After the court case finishes, he then tells his bodyguard to then slip her his number. She takes it. I think she then starts to have this kind of communication with R. Kelly backwards and forth, yeah. Now remember, bearing in mind that R. Kelly's been accused of sleeping with a grown-ass man, has been accused of sleeping with quite a few minors now, yeah, and there's a sex tape circulating. Okay, she may not have seen it, okay. Yes, she is starstruck, because I remember being 16 and I remember having a 14-year-old girl at the time. I do remember it very clearly, interested in me, and I know that at the time, if I told her to take off her shoe and jump on one leg, she'd do it. I know how naive they are at that age. Believe me, I know. I do know. And that's one thing I want you to understand, is that I do know what it's like at that age. You know, especially with girls and fans, and, you know, if they're really attracted to someone, I do know. So where was I going with this? Right, so the bodyguard, he then gets found innocent, and the bodyguard comes out and slips this girl R. Kelly's phone number. She then starts corresponding with him, And I think when she then hit 16, for some reason, she ends up going in to R. Kelly's goes into R. Kelly's mansion. Now remember, bear in mind, I want people to understand now that he's been accused of sleeping with 30 underage, well, not 30, he's been accused of sleeping with a whole bunch of little girls, right? So even if you were at R. Kelly, even if you were there supporting him, saying, you know, R. Kelly never did these things, a grown-ass man is now suddenly inviting you back to his mansion or whatever. It's it's tough, guys. I don't want to look. It's not funny. It's not a funny thing, but it's just. I'll get into. I'll explain my side of the story in a bit, so you understand where I'm coming from. Because it sounded like you know, the person that I was watching it with was like, no, I don't think you understand. You know, he's the man here, and she's the little girl, and you know, he should have known. And the first thing I want to say to people, and again, you're not going to like this. I'm not here for you to like me. It's important, right? Is that you got to understand that even me, I think even me, when I was in my mid-20s, I was broken in so many ways, you know, and I was really lonely. And I remember going onto this site called 2428, which was a text site back then, on my phone, and I was 24, 25, and there was a lot of girls that was 17, 18 coming through. Some of them were even pretending to be older than what they were. You know, I can't speak for R. Kelly. I can't speak for R. Kelly because R. Kelly can have beautiful women his own age, mature women. The perspective that I'm coming at things is that there's certain guys out there that can't speak to any girls whatsoever. So anything speaking to them, whether it's probably a 10-year-old, not that I spoke to 10-year-olds, I didn't, but I know what it's like to go through this world not being able to speak to the opposite sex. So when we flip it back to, oh yeah, he's a grown man and this and that, there are some grown men out there that just want to speak to a woman, period. Whether she's 13, 12 or whatever. That's the perspective I'm coming at. I don't know about R. Kelly because R. Kelly is a grown man. He can have attractive looking women his own age. So in my eyes, in my view, a pedophile really is someone that chooses to go for children when they can have women their own age. Basically, they have some sort of, their mind is zoned in on underage girls. Okay, but there are vulnerable young adults out there that almost like have the mind of children. So it's kind of a different kind of thing, you know. So when we say, oh, yeah, but R. Kelly was a grown man and this and that. Yeah, in regards to R. Kelly, he was, but it's not every situation where you can say that because there are some grown men that have the mind of children. That's the point that I'm trying to make. But anyway, this person that I was having an argument with was like, oh, damn, you know, R. Kelly, he's a grown man and he should have known and this and that. Cut a long story short, let's get back to it. Okay, so yeah, you're right, he's a grown-ass man. This girl is showing extreme signs of ignorance here. She then, at 16, gets invited to his house. She goes to his house at 16. She's then in some sort of bikini, and even by now, it hasn't clicked in. It just hasn't clicked in by then. Okay. She's in the bikini. R. Kelly then says to her at the side of the pool, right, take off all of your clothes. And, you know, one thing, she said, and then she takes her clothes off, and then he starts blah, blah, blah. She says to him, I'm a virgin. He says, well, even better. And at no point in time does it click in. At no point in time does the flashback go back to her sitting outside the courtroom saying, R. Kelly is not a child molester, R. Kelly is not a child molester, to her then suddenly at the pool with him saying, yes, virgin, yeah? That's even better, babe. But it doesn't click in. She doesn't suddenly put on her clothes and say, oh my gosh, you are a paedophile. That doesn't ever click into her mind at 16 years old, you know? And that's what this is about. But we're going to get into part 2. We will get into part 2 of this, guys, because it's serious. And then I'll explain how I was at 14, yeah? Because it's important that you understand both parts and where I'm coming from with this all. Right, I will see you around for number 2. Alright, peace.